Michael, welcome to Sunday with Charles. This is Charles Ortel, if you haven't met or heard of him. What can you tell us, Michael, about the latest developments in the struggle with the teachers' union?
Yeah, so hi, thanks so much for having me on again. It was great to be on last time. So happy to be back now. My name's Michael Kane. I'm a UFT member. I'm a New York City teacher for the past 13 years. And I'm also a steering committee member for New York Teachers for Choice. And you can check us out at nyteachersforchoice.org. It's all one word, no numbers, nyteachersforchoice.org. And as we say, we are very much in favor of choice, especially when it comes to medical procedures and trying to mandate medical procedures for people to keep their jobs. So we spoke about this for over an hour last time I was with you. The two major issues we're dealing with is mandatory COVID testing in the schools and mandatory forced vaccination, especially with the COVID vaccine. And just to make the one announcement I really wanted to make, on December 16th in Staten Island at the Staten Island UFT office, we're organizing a protest at 3 p.m. So we hope that people will come join us. We hope teachers will come. We hope parents will come, students. We hope anybody that is in favor of having the choice to decide what happens with your body with your own doctor. If you agree with that, then you agree with us, and you should be coming out to protest. There's been a number of developments since I talked to you. We actually have lawyers representing us now, some very prominent, brilliant lawyers. Michael Sussman, constitutional scholar and civil rights attorney, is representing us. And Mary Holland is also helping us a lot. She is the general counsel for Children's Health Defense. And because we've gotten these attorneys, we finally gotten a couple of responses and a couple of answers from the Department of Education. We were asking about mandatory COVID testing and the contracts surrounding it. And we've gotten most of the contracts surrounding it, but there's one contract that they're still holding on to. So they're trying to force teachers and students to take mandatory COVID testing, or they will kick the students out of the school and they will place teachers on unpaid leave. But they're doing this and they still have a secret contract that they have not revealed with a company called Fulgent Genetics. And Fulgent Genetics, as we've discussed in the past, also owns a proprietary genetic information library. And I'm trying to get to the bottom of, is it possible our specimens could end up in their library? Well, since our attorneys contacted the Department of Education, they said, no, it's absolutely impossible. That won't happen. And we said, great, well, show us that document called the Specimen Collection Agreement. And they said, oh, we don't have it. New York City Health and Hospitals have it. Oh. So another attorney that we've worked with has put in a Freedom of Information Act request to New York City Health and Hospitals. And wouldn't you know it, that request expired. They never complied and got it to us. But still, the city is saying when they reopen schools on Monday, students have 1 day to sign the consent, or they're sending the students home if the parents don't sign. Teachers have 1 week to sign the consent. And if they don't sign that consent, they are going to be placed on unpaid leave. And our position is no secret contracts. And not require us to take a test when there is a secret contract still underneath it. Release the secret contract.
Yeah, this is shocking, Michael. I mean, you also sent me some documentation that you can't have a test done by your own doctor and then submit the results. This, to me, remind me, how old are the students we're talking about that they're subjecting to these tests?
The youngest child that would be subjected is a first grader, going all the way up to 12th grade, pre-K.
So is that 6? 7?
Yeah.
So, you're a 6-year-old kid.
6-year-old.
Someone who's not a doctor you've ever seen or dealt with before is jamming this thing up your nose. That's traumatic in my view.
It says they're investors. Who is behind this Fulgent?
So Fulgent Genetics is from what I understand, a small cap, publicly traded company. They're a pretty large company, and their stock popped really nicely when they got this contract, with New York City, and they're doing a lot of testing throughout the country right now.
Board of directors, actually.
So So that's one issue is there. And this is very important. Jim
Ming Tsai?
We're looking at the management here of this company, and the first person would appear to be Chinese.
Well, that's okay, but isn't Ming Tsai some evil villain from like a movie or something?
That I wouldn't know. And here's another person, Paul Kim. And these are all,
Gao.
Every single one of these people would appear to be Asian. Not that that's a problem.
Regardless of who the people are on the board of directors, I want to see the contract, right? That I don't have any problem with Fulgent Genetics directly. I have a problem that my employer has contracted with them and it now is forcing me to be involved in their tests without showing me the contract. That's where my problem is with them. And this is one of the reasons why we're having a protest at the UFT office, because UFT has been the biggest supporter of mandatory testing. So at bare minimum, they have to demand that this contract is released for us and our attorneys to review before they say I'm going to lose my job, be placed on unpaid leave for not taking the test.
And the premise that they base this on, Michael, if I'm correct, is that they're saying that the schools are a hotbed of spreading, a super spreader kind of thing. Is there any scientific data that shows that the young children who are in these schools are spreading COVID anywhere?
So that you bring that up, as I said, there's an attorney, Jim Mermigas, who's been suing de Blasio a lot. And last week when de Blasio closed schools, Jim Mermigas sued him to open up the schools. And de Blasio then kind of decided to open up the schools not too long after that, but only up till grade 5. Now Jim Mermigas is suing the schools, which is coming this week. He's going to bring that in federal court against mandated COVID testing for children, for students. So he is challenging him on that. And a lot of the reasons why Jim is able to do that is that a lot of the data is suggesting schools might be the safest place to be, and as opposed to what's going on in the communities around it. And the data is definitely showing that children under 10 are not getting and spreading this the way you would think. Dr. Fauci just admitted this, and he admitted it a little perplexed and surprised, saying that, we would have thought that the children would get and spread this more than they do, but the data doesn't support that. So it doesn't appear that that's what's happening. As we get the data, as the science starts to come in, we're not really seeing that.
So sorry, Jason. And Michael, can we just scroll down more on these directors for a second? Sure. Because when I look at this, I sense fraud, right? That's what I'm looking at. And
there's somebody on the board named the Mule. You don't like that, Charles?
He likes to pronounce it.
Oh,
Mule.
Sorry.
Okay, this is Taipei. All right, so the mantra that we've been getting out of the Trump administration is, don't worry, all of this is going to be free. The testing is going to be free, the vaccine is going to be free, everything's going to be free. Nobody does all this work for free. And so here we have an example of Fulgent getting a contract. They're clearly being paid something by somebody. And the question is, what was the arm's length basis, if any, of this contract? And what side deal might Fulgent have to use this data that is, a large sample of data, genetic data on New York City kids?
So let me just interject one thing there. The DOE has released the non-disclosure data agreement between the DOE and Fulgent. That's been released, which kind of says you won't use any of the student data. The specimen, nothing has been released on the specimen collection agreement that Fulgent has, and the specimen holds the DNA of the student, of the teachers, of us. So this, and Fulgent owns a genetic library, proprietary library that they benefit from financially on. So I don't know if my DNA is being cataloged there. The DOE says, no, absolutely not. We assure you it's not. Okay, great. Show me the contract. Show me the black and white. Show my lawyers the contract. So this is one area where we're protesting. And the other area we're protesting, we want everybody to come down to Staten Island on December 16th, 3 p.m. at the UFT office, is about the mandatory COVID vaccination. Michael Mulgrew is the president of my union, very powerful union, the largest local union in the country. And he recently held a virtual town hall meeting for UFT members. And I just kept getting tons of emails after this, where he kept talking about when the vaccine is mandatory for teachers. So teachers wanted to know, wait, what's happening here? So I wrote Mr. Mulgrew a letter saying, can you please clarify your statements? And he did not clarify his statements. He did not respond. We have a petition against vaccine mandates for educators that had about 4,000 signatures when I came on the show last time. In 1 week since Mulgrew made these comments, we've blown past 10,000 signatures. Teachers and educators do not like hearing that they're going to have a vaccine to keep their job, even if they want to get the vaccine. They don't want to hear that you don't keep your job if you don't get the vaccine. So again, anybody, parents, teachers, students, anybody that supports making medical decisions with your doctor, I don't care if you're Republican, you're Democrat, you're Independent, you're Green Party, whatever you are, you need to support us. Visit us at nyteachersforchoice.org and come to our protest. All the information about the protest, you just have to click on updates. It is the very most recent update right at the top there. If you click on updates and click on protest at UFT office in Staten Island, all the information there. So tell a friend, tell everybody. No forced COVID shots for teachers or students. No forced flu shots for teachers or students. No forced medical mandates to keep our jobs or to attend school. That's our main message here. And we hope, I know a lot of people agree with us because we're getting more and more hits every day. New York Post just published some of our stuff yesterday. It's actually there in our updates too, that the New York Post is covering us. We're getting more attention. This conversation is one that people are extremely interested right now. And thank God, thank God that that's happening, that people are having their voice heard. Visit our website, get in touch with me, and don't let this happen. Don't let it happen. When there's thousands of people in the streets, things change. That's when they listen. When no one's in the streets, they don't care what we say. They don't care what we do.
So back on the address of this, Jason and I were out in Staten Island last Wednesday, and I guess you were there again last night. And where exactly, how do you get to that place? Is that a remote location in Staten Island or easy to find?
I'm from Queens, so I actually don't know 100%, but I'll say the address is 4456 Amboy Road. That's the address. It is the UFT office building that they have there. And our members and our supporters from Staten Island really just picked up the ball and did this on their own. I wasn't involved much. You could definitely check our Instagram site for that as well too, New York Teachers for Choice on Instagram, because some of our Staten Island supporters run that Instagram and they're really doing a lot on it. But if anybody has any questions about how to get there or itineraries or any concerns, email me. I'll make sure that we'll get that to you and post it on our website as well too.
What's the email you'd like people to use for you, Michael?
You can email me at nyteachersforchoice@gmail.com. Again, no numbers in that, just one word, nyteachersforchoice@gmail.com. If you don't remember it, go to nyteachersforchoice.org, go to our contact page, and you'll get it right to me for sure.
So it would appear to be a standalone building, looking at Google Earth here. Needs a new roof, I think.
But there it is, right on Staten Island.
Yeah.
It's a little difficult to access Staten Island from Manhattan by subway. You've got to kind of go through Brooklyn and stuff like that. So, Michael, I'm going to make plans to be there for sure, and definitely want to support this. I agree with you completely. I don't like the idea of the government rushing vaccines at, Guinness record-breaking speeds to then mandate that everybody takes it and then potentially find out, oh, whoops, there was something wrong with that one. So if people who have confidence in the vaccine take the vaccine, it should inoculate them against getting sick. So they shouldn't be worried about what other people do. And if you are worried, you should voluntarily take your child or yourself out of that situation, and everybody else should be allowed to go about their lives. Certainly everyone, no matter what age we are, when we consent to move around on this planet or even exist here, you step outside, you could get hit by a bus, You go to school, you could get punched in the face by a bully, you could fall down the stairs, a kid might pick his nose and flick it at you, and you could get sick.
Right.
These are the risks of life. And I agree with you, Michael. We support you at Crowdsource the Truth and what you're doing. Anything else you wanted to tell our viewers?
Jason, thank you so much for giving us your platform and for allowing this. Just again, the protest is Wednesday, December 16th in Staten Island at 3 p.m. I'm hearing a lot of buzz about it. As you know from last week, there was some pretty big protests in Staten Island, and there's some people that are getting very tired of being told that they can't live and prosper and be normal. And I really, no matter what your political background, I appreciate that. And I appreciate what people, anybody that is standing up for their rights. The last thing I want to say is you come to this protest. This is a peaceful protest. We're just looking to have our voices heard. Our voices will be heard loudly. But keep that in mind. This is something that we're putting our grievances out there in a peaceful way, demanding to be heard, but definitely not looking to break laws or do anything like that in any way, shape, or form. Just want to be heard in the public square. This is the American way.
And to be clear, I'm sure there are teachers who support both the President of the United States and the former Vice President of the United States. So this is not a political rally. This is a specific protest for this specific contract with the teachers union, and people should arrive and be prepared to protest accordingly.
That is 100% correct. This isn't political. This is a slippery slope we're on. If you can mandate a vaccine to have a job, what else is going to be mandated? I'll leave you with this. In Michigan, there was a bill that the state capitol legislator there put up to prevent people from being required to inject microchips into them to keep their job. Sounds like a great bill. Buried in the weeds of the bill, it said, unless a court orders it.
Whoa.
So what is that, right? So when just the only reason I bring this up is because once you mandate one medical procedure to get a job, what's the next one? What's the next one? Where are we going to go? Even if you are pro-vaccine, you should be pro-choice to choose with your doctor what is best for you. What might keep you safe might make me sick. This isn't North Korea. This is not how we don't function where the state says you do this to stay well.
Sure of that?
We say yes, I do this to stay well.
Are you sure of that, Michael? Are you sure of that?
Well, we're fighting. We're fighting to make sure it's not that way.
Well, Michael, thank you for joining us again. We'll see you on Wednesday, and people are definitely going to go to nyteachersforchoice.org. They're going to learn more about where to go on Wednesday in Staten Island. Staten Island is like my new favorite place. I formally apologize to Staten Island for anything negative I have ever said. I have friends on Staten Island now, and frankly, we all have friends on Staten Island. We'll see you there Wednesday, Michael. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Take care, guys. Thank you.
Great to see you again. Well, there you go, Charles. Michael Kane. Everybody thought he was a famous British guy, but he's actually a teacher there in Queens. So that's a lot to talk about